Welcome, everybody. It's Love Coach Scott Catamas, and it's Saturday night. And welcome to the early show. And it's great to have all of you with us. And you know the score. Please put in the chat box your name and where you're from. John, you did it again. You were the first one in. I always appreciate people like John who show up early and consistently. And the early show is when we get to have kind of a more informal chat and kind of go with the flow of things. And we're going to honor Thich Nhat Hahn, who passed away. And so I just want to kind of mention that because we're probably going to have a little bit more of a somber start to our show today, but it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful show. I am so blessed to work with amazing people, and we've got the Twin Ray joining us tonight, and I love Shekina Ma and Sananda Ji. We have great music with Johanna and Joss and Omashar, and I have been having the incredible honor to work with Eden Amadora all weekend as my co-host. And I'm going to bring her on now. And hello, Eden. Welcome.
Hi, Scott. Welcome, everybody. Nice to be here.
For any of you who haven't met Eden yet, tonight's show is all about divine love and miracles. And I want to say that the two women I know who most embody the divine feminine are Eden and Shekina. They both really embody the divine feminine in a very healthy, beautiful, and balanced way. And we're going to tell Eden's story during the main show, so I won't give it all away here. But I really enjoyed working with you this weekend, and thank you for you bring so much class and grace and integrity to everything you do. And I will just mention, since this is kind of our friends in the early show, she also had this huge event on Thursday, and she's moving on Monday. But she's pulled it all together to be with us this weekend. So thank you, Eden.
Yeah, it's my honor. So happy to be here.
And also, after we honor and acknowledge Thich Nhat Hanh, we are going to read some of what you all have to share. And if anybody wants to share any stories about miracles, especially as they may have connected to when you felt connected to divine love or to higher power, pop your stories into the chat box, and Eden and I will pick a few to read. All right? So we are going to start by acknowledging the passage of Thich Nhat Hanh. And what did he mean to you, Eden? I'll let you start.
So Thich Nhat Hanh has been a presence of peace and wisdom in my life. And I never had the good fortune to meet him in person, though his teachings, his books, his quotes have touched my life. And as a Zen Buddhist monk, he really personified and embodied this presence, this heartful presence that is synonymous with peace and divine love. So for me, every time I would tune into his frequency, every time I would read something that he wrote, it would bring me into a higher frequency. It would bring me back to my heart and to presence again. And just recently, Scott sent me something so lovely about what true love was to him. And he made it so clear in such beautiful, simple language around feeling joy, the vibration of joy, and self-love, and then sharing that. And I just thought, wow, if you could really quintessentialize true love, that high vibrational state of happiness and joy. And even though he'd been through such trauma, war, and loss, and insane happenings in his life, he was able to maintain this embodiment of joy and wisdom and true love and share it with so many beings. So I feel he's touched us all. He's just an amazing light being.
Beautiful. Thank you, Eden. And that's actually a perfect introduction to the video that you just described. So it's going to play it. I'll tell my story in the main show. I spent a week on a retreat with him, and I'll tell that story a little bit later tonight. So that's when he passed. I went on YouTube looking to see what he had to say about love, since tonight's show is all about divine love. And this is what I found, and it's what Eden was just referencing. I'm doing a new system here. What is true love? So give me a second. Here we go.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, I was wondering if you could speak to us of love. What is the essence of true love? And how do we connect to that in us?
True love is something that helps you to suffer less and help the other person to suffer less. True love is something that makes you happy and make the other person happy. True love is can help you to have freedom, more freedom. And in the teaching of the Buddha, there are 4 elements of true love. The first is Maitri. It means loving kindness. Maitri has the power to offer happiness. When you are able to generate a feeling of joy and happiness to you, that's true love. Offer to yourself. And if you can generate a feeling of joy and happiness and helping the other person generate a feeling of joy and happiness, that is loving kindness. That is true love. So if you are a true lover, you can create happiness for you and for him, for her. And according to our teaching, it's not so difficult to create joy and happiness. Just breathe in and recognize the many conditions of happiness and joy that are already available. Generating joy, generating happiness for you and for the other person. The second element of true love is compassion, karuna. That is the capacity to make yourself suffer less and help the other person suffer less. And we have learned that there is an art of suffering. If we know how to suffer, we suffer much, much less. And we can make good use of suffering in order to fabricate understanding and love. And you can help the other person to suffer less, to transform suffering in her, in him. And that is the second element of true love, compassion, karuna. The Buddha is able to help people to suffer less. And his compassion is great, called Mahakaruna, great compassion. And as we continue to practice, our karuna continue to grow. And one day it will be Mahakaruna, Maha Maitri and Mahakaruna. And then the third element of true love is joy, mudita. If love does not generate joy, it's not love. If love makes the other person cry every day, it's not love. If love makes you suffer every day, that's not true love. So true love is capable of generating joy for yourself and for the other person. And in the last 4 days, we have learned how to produce a feeling of joy. And the fourth element of true love is upeksha, inclusiveness. In true love, you don't see any frontier between the one who loves and the one who is loved. It's like bowing to the Buddha, the one who bows and the one who is bowed to. Between them there is no frontier. And that is why communication is perfect. So in true love, your suffering is her suffering. Your happiness is her happiness. There is no individual suffering and happiness anymore. No discrimination. All inclusive is the fourth element of true love, equanimity, that can be translated as inclusiveness. And you begin with yourself and the other person. But if you continue with this practice of true love, your heart will open, grow, and very soon you will include all of us in your love. You do not exclude anyone, anything from your love. That is the love of the Buddha, including every living beings, not excluding anyone. No discrimination about race, citizenship, religion, or anything. And that is the element of non-discrimination. That is the element of inclusiveness. And that makes you very free, very happy, and make your love unlimited. And in true love, you continue to grow. Your love continues to grow until it embraces everyone in the cosmos.
I noticed that on YouTube they were carrying a very long, several-day process of honoring him. So if people want to, there's a lot of even live broadcasts going on. When I was looking for this, there was actually a live broadcast. What else comes up for you, Eden, as you watch this for a second time? And certainly I'm going to scan through and see what comments are coming in from our friends.
There were a couple things he said that really just popped for me. And one was breathe in and become aware of the conditions of joy and happiness that are all around. It was like this invitation to actually recognize what is real. We sometimes get so caught in our stories and in our mental looping and seeing through a tight kind of egoic lens. And he's inviting us back to that breath, to that present moment, to recognize the conditions of joy and that which brings joy. And the other thing that I thought was great was when he was talking about suffering in regards to karuna, and he said, you can really utilize suffering. And the way he used a word, I can't remember the exact word, it was almost like congratulations, this suffering is going to actually help you to love more. This suffering is part of your ability to increase your compassion, your presence. I love that.
Yeah. That what that brings up, what you just shared, is we're talking about miracles, we're talking about divine love, but how often the miracle, the breakthrough, comes after we've gone through significant suffering. And really, as I look back at my life, the hardest times in my life, the times that things fell apart, that I was in deep despair or it was really tough, always led to a breakthrough that now in hindsight I go, oh my God, that was my karma. That was my dharma. That was my birth canal. Yeah. And I know you can relate to that as well.
Very much so. It's a phenomenon that I've heard. It's like this kind of metaphysical, as above, so below, until we've kind of mined the dark for the gold and touched the bottom of the well and the sticky tar and recognized, oh, that's my own material. That's the parts that are still clinging to the small self and suffering so badly. When we get in there and actually pass through those initiations, there's so much more freedom on the other side. Every time in my life that I've hit a bottom and felt betrayed, devastated, disillusioned, there's been some gift. And I know some teachers say your shadow contains the gift, or your suffering is the portal to grace. It's actually connected. It's required on a path of awakening to touch those places and integrate them. So I so agree with you.
Beautiful. I'm going to read something that Dorina wrote. My dog was barking, so I apologize for a slight distraction there. Um, Dorina wrote a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, Eden, and I'm going to read it. By the way, I just want to welcome, I see so many of our familiar friends who are with us joining us. And please, for anybody who just came in, share with us any stories you wish about miracles, divine love, what this means to you. Dorina Joy has a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. It's very beautiful. Thank you for your overflowing compassion, timeless wisdom, and transcendent grace. The brilliance you lived is still the brilliance you are. May your life and legacy continue to be a source of inspiration and heart-centered nourishment for generations to come. So that's what Dorina wrote. And then she has a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, which is, quote, "This body is not me. I am not caught in this body. I am life without boundaries. I've never been born, and I've never died. Over there, the wide ocean and the sky, with many galaxies, all manifests from the basis of consciousness. Since beginningless time, I have always been free. Birth and death are only a door through which we go in and out. Birth and death are only a game of hide and seek. So smile to me, take my hand, and wave goodbye. Tomorrow we shall meet again, or even before. We shall always be meeting again at the true source, always meeting again on the myriad paths of life."
Wow.
I got tears on that one. Thank you so much, Dorina, for pulling that up and sharing that.
It's especially poignant with him passing from form and leaving the body. And reading that brings a smile to my heart that he is so here with us, so here in spirit.
It's so it's so important for us as we have so much death in our world right now. We're all a day older than we were yesterday. And there's a lot of people leaving the planet right now. At least in our tribe, a lot of people are leaving, and so it is important for us to have a healthy perspective about death and to find that balance of empathy for ourselves or for others when they've lost a loved one, to cry, to mourn the loss, but to remember words like that there is, on the bigger picture, we are all always connected. And and I know that you live your life in that consciousness, Eden.
I try to remember, it is a daily practice to remember that we're souls, that we're spirits in form, having this human experience. Sometimes when I get too serious or too caught up in things not going the way I expected, I need to stop and take that deep breath and recognize the conditions of joy, as he said, and really come back to the heart and begin again and forgive myself and have compassion for myself and others. And I feel like, some believe we're here to learn, and it's like the life school, and others have different opinions about what in the world we're doing here, this evolutionary arc, and what are we becoming. And I like to believe that we're becoming lighter and more unified and more connected and more awakened. And I live my life in that prayer.
Yeah. We are awakening. That's why we call it the awakening world. I want to acknowledge a couple things. I want to acknowledge, I'm going to put the camera on him for a moment, our wonderful friend Jerry Anderson, um, the wild abbot. And there we go. Having trouble. Wow, this is interesting.
See if I can spotlight him.
Yeah, it's not letting me spotlight him for some
Maybe I
reason.
can pin him.
Here we
There
go.
he
I
is.
got it. I got it. For some reason, it wasn't letting me spotlight for a moment. Hey, Jerry. I'm acknowledging you because I know that this is the anniversary of the passage of your mother. And I remember a year ago when she passed, we were able to connect a little bit. And so just want to acknowledge that as we're talking about passages. And I always try and find a reason to bring you on camera for at least 1 minute. You will all see him moving and grooving to the music inevitably. And for anybody who doesn't know, Jerry is the wild abbot of the Mystic Monastery, 10,000 acre ecumenical country. It's its own country like the Vatican, where we all are going to have a big retreat someday. So, anyway, Jerry, I love you so much. Thank you for always being with us. Thank you for the things
I
you
would like
share.
to say the miracle that happened to me today, since we're supposed to put in the chat our miracle. Well, I was thinking of my mom looking down and my life and sense of purpose that I carry. And I was feeling like she was like, kind of like a cheer. And I turned on Joel Osteen, which is like the crazy spiritual cheerleader. And his entire half an hour was about our ancestors looking down, cheering us on, says, "Go, man, go." The whole half hour today. It was like, oh my gosh, the timing.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. Um, thank you. Well, we love you, Jerry,
Love you.
and blessings. And your mother, absolutely, no doubt, is very proud and will be guiding you because you've got a big project that you're doing, partner. A big project.
For sure. Thank you for your blessings.
Absolutely. I want to read what Carol just wrote. Carol's one of our regulars who comes to us all the way from El Salvador. She writes, I just left the live ceremony in Vietnam from my beloved teacher of 27 years. I've been a member of the Clear Heart Sangha in Rhode Island, and his continuance celebration is so moving. Being here in El Salvador is a spiritual experience, and I'm so happy to be able to join the Global Peace Tribe. Thank you, Jerry. We love having you with us. So, Eden, we've got time for a miracle story, and you do amazing work with women. And this is kind of a spontaneous question for you, but any miracle story that you'd like to share from your priestess training that would be?
Yeah, I enjoyed our show so much last night, and especially when Deborah spoke about how the miracles are all around us all the time, and the miracle of beauty and of simple acts of kindness and love, that we shouldn't put them in a different category. These are the true miracles. And this being said, I have seen miracles of transformation and transmutation in the way people believe about themselves and the world, and their whole lives open up when they're held in an unconditionally loving embrace with someone that can truly see them in their essence. And over time, their stories about what's real begin to change. One of the sweetest stories, I'm going to actually invite her to come on with us tomorrow for my last show around divine love and miracles, is one of my initiates who's now training to do the same work that I do in the Divine Feminine Mystery School. It was about going on 6 years ago when I first met her, and she had all of the accolades in life: Harvard business grad, extremely gifted woman, driven. And this being said, was in so much pain and felt so worthless. Her sense of self, her identity, and her quality of relationships was so challenged when I first met her. And she would say things like, I don't think I deserve the air that I'm taking up, or the space I'm taking up in the air that I need to breathe. Someone more deserving than me should be in this circle or in this life. And It took time for her to pass through this really dense energy, but not that long, because she was held in such compassion, like that karuna that Thich Nhat Hanh spoke of, by a circle of loving women for a year. And she came out of that year not only no longer suicidal, but she was committed to then being in service and to supporting and teaching and helping others. And her life has completely transformed. She's in a happy, healthy, long-term relationship for many years now. She's healed many relationships with her family. And to hear it in her own words is really, really remarkable. So if you catch the show tomorrow, you'll hear that. That's one of the miracles I've seen recently. And there's so many. I could go on and on.
Well, I do want to encourage people to check out, and we're going to be talking more about Eden, and I'm going to encourage everyone to take her amazing quiz, the Take the Beloved quiz. But she mentioned Sunday. I want to really encourage everybody to join us tomorrow. This new format of the Awakening World, we take a topic and we explore it all 3 days, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. And tomorrow morning, Eden and I will be back together, and we've got 2 wonderful guests. Nirka, some of you saw her on our show a few weeks ago. She is a powerhouse. She was Tony Robbins' number one partner for 5 years, a professional partner, and Astarius Miraculi, beautiful brother. He was on my show in December, and we're going to be really talking about tools, like how do we create miracles. Now we're going to do that tonight as well with the Twin Ray, but you'll also be able to get some beautiful tools from Nirka, Eden, and Astarius, and myself tomorrow. So please join us. That's at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern. And it's a Zoom meeting room now. Friday nights and Sunday mornings are Zoom meetings. So if you want, you can come and you can turn your camera on. We can see you. Makes it easier for people to participate. And it's been really lovely having like this sense of community and connection. And if you want to just hang out and not keep your camera on because you're in your pajamas, look, most of us are in our pajamas, at least our pajama bottoms, right? I'm wearing slippers. So however you like, join us for our Sacred Sunday show tomorrow. All right, we are at the 6 o'clock, or very close to 6 o'clock, so I'm going to get ready to bring us live on Facebook. Eden, thank you, and I will see all of you in just a moment, including Eden.